Hello there, my beautiful souls, and welcome back to the Midlife Purpose Project. This is actually my first recording in a couple of weeks. I was away on vacation in Oregon and I had done a bunch of recording before I left. So I've been off the mic for a while, and I am excited to be back here with you recording this episode. My trip to Oregon was amazing, but as always, life has its lessons for us. So if you want to read about my life lesson that I learned in Oregon, head over to Substack. I'm just Katie Farinas on Substack, and you can find out all about that because life is always teaching us something, teaching us about ourselves, teaching us really the places in life where we still aren't free. And we think that we're free, but really our minds are what keep us trapped. And I found another sticky spot where I am still not free. And honestly, it's a lesson that I have learned before, and I just needed another reminder because that's the way life goes, right? We're all on the journey. It's all a practice. And often we need to learn the same lessons over and over and over before they finally stick. So I'm not sure if I'm going to come back to this lesson again, who knows? But I was certainly reminded of it on my vacation. So head over to Substack and read about that and see if it applies to you as well. I also want to remind you to sign up for the newsletter. I have a new freebie coming out soon. So if you're on my newsletter, you'll automatically have access to that. It's a masterclass on helping you uncover or discover your Dharma, your soul's purpose. And it's 5 steps. I walk you through them. We do some exercises together. I think you're really going to like it. I've sent it to a few people just to give it a trial run and see what people thought. And I've had a lot of great feedback. So I think you're really going to love it. So sign up for my newsletter. You can go to katiefarinas.com and hit the newsletter tab at the top, or you can use the link in the show notes. Okay, on to this week's episode. Hey, gorgeous souls, and welcome to the Midlife Purpose Project. I'm your host, Katie Farinas, a yoga teacher and soul purpose coach. And just like you, I'm navigating the wild, beautiful, and sometimes messy terrain of midlife. This is the space where we unpack the shifts happening in our bodies, minds, and souls. We're diving deep into the questions that rise up when everything seems to be changing. Think of this as your toolkit for making sense of this powerful phase of life. We'll have honest conversations, belly laughs, maybe a few tears, and a whole lot of growth. We'll hear from experts on topics that matter to you in midlife, and I'll share yogic philosophy that has been helping humans live with more skill and ease for centuries. Because here's the truth. Everything you've been through, every challenge, every joy, every heartbreak, has been training you for this. You're not broken, you're not lost. You're stepping into your power. So come on in, embrace the mess, the beauty, and the absolute magic of midlife. Let's journey together. So I was thinking that we should circle back and talk about Dharma. That is a yogic word for your soul's purpose. And I have plenty of episodes on the concept of Dharma, and I will link a few of those in the show notes as well. But in yogic philosophy, we each have a personal Dharma, and it is our soul's purpose. It is the reason why we are here. It is our sacred duty to ourselves and to the world. Because in yogic philosophy, as well as many of the ancient wisdom traditions, it is believed that we each come here with a specific purpose, a specific way in which we are meant to heal the world and make the world a better place. If you listen to last week's episode, you heard Erica Carico talking about original medicine. So that's an Aboriginal term, very, very similar to the term Dharma, right? It's this way in which we are supposed to heal the world. And while we're healing the world, we're actually also serving and healing ourselves. And it's the path to inner fulfillment. When we lean into our Dharma, when we lean into our soul's purpose, that is where the only place truly that we will feel completely fulfilled, where we will feel like our life has deep meaning, where we will feel very connected to ourselves, to others, to something bigger. And it's really what I believe true success is. I have another episode on success. I can link that as well. But what I believe true success is this sense of inner fulfillment, connection, peace, knowing, belonging, well-being. These are all things that come when we live our lives in service to our Dharma. And uncovering our Dharma can be a journey because life does what life does, right? We grow up and we receive messages from culture, from parents, from teachers, from friends, and we have certain experiences, not all of them positive. And as a result, we start disconnecting from our true selves, from our inner knowing. We start putting layers on top of ourselves to protect ourselves, to make ourselves appear competent, successful. Maybe we're very sensitive, but we don't want to appear so. And so we put a layer on to protect ourselves because we are so sensitive and to prevent the world from knowing how sensitive we are. There are countless layers that we fold on top of our higher selves or our soul in order to protect ourselves and to function in this world. But when we start reaching midlife, it really is a time where we start questioning all of those layers and we start really feeling that inner tension and those feelings of being unfulfilled and those feelings of wanting deeper connection and deeper meaning. And all of that is our soul's way of nudging us back toward ourselves, right? That's why those feelings exist. They exist to let you know that you are out of alignment with your Dharma or your soul's purpose. Anxiety, depression, just feeling kind of blah, feeling like, is this all there is, right? That's a common question I get from clients. Like, I just feel like, is this all there is? Feeling stuck. That's another feeling that really nudges us towards change, right? Because each of these feelings that I'm describing are unpleasant, they are uncomfortable, and they are unpleasant and uncomfortable for a reason because your soul is trying to guide you back home to yourself. And we can either listen to that call, listen to those nudges, or we can try to ignore them, push them away, sweep them under the rug, whatever expression you want to use. But it doesn't matter. They will keep coming back. Those feelings and those nudges will keep coming back. And for many people, as if you listen to last week's episode, you'll know what I'm talking about. For many people, those whispers and nudges become loud voices, and they become shoves. They become things that are much harder to ignore. The longer that we try to pretend like everything's okay and we don't need to make any changes in our lives and there's nothing wrong, the louder and harder those messages will come at us. And it can seem unfair. It can seem like life is out to get you, or it can seem like, you're just unlucky. There's many ways in which we can interpret when life starts throwing things at us to encourage us to change. And at first, I always quote Oprah. She had this saying that I think may have come from Maya Angelou, but I'm not positive about that. But she said, life will first throw a pebble, and then it'll throw a stone, and then it'll throw a rock. And if you still don't listen, it will shove a boulder in your direction, right? So we all want to try to avoid the boulder. We want to get the message with the pebble. Unfortunately, human nature. A lot of times we don't. A lot of times it does take the rock or the boulder to really get our attention. But if you're here and you're listening to this podcast and you have, been listening to this podcast, you are feeling these feelings that I'm talking about. And those are the nudges, those are the whispers, those are the pebbles or the stones, right? So this is your opportunity to say, I don't want the boulder, right? I don't want life to throw me a boulder. I don't want, Erica's example was cancer and divorce. She is one of many people who actually have requested to come onto my podcast and tell their story. So you're probably going to hear more stories coming up. But I get people coming onto my requesting to come onto my podcast all the time to share their story of major life events that occurred because they didn't listen to the whispers. And I want, working with me, if you were to work with me as your coach, this is what we would do. We would do this internal work of excavating all the things that are there that are preventing you from uncovering why you really came here, right? In this lifetime, in this body, with this family, with the talents and gifts that you have, with the life experiences that you've had, all of that. But on this episode today, I want to simplify things. I want to make the idea of uncovering your Dharma very, very basic. Because I know for myself, for many years of my life, I believed when someone said, oh, find your purpose, or someone said, I'm living my purpose, and any discussion around purpose, to me, that meant that each person had one specific thing that they were meant to do in this life. And it was so frustrating because for years on end, I knew that I was off purpose. I knew I was not living the life that I was meant to live. I had the pebble, I had the rock, I had the stone, and I had the boulder. And yet still, I couldn't understand. I couldn't grasp what my purpose was. And it actually got to a point where I thought, I guess I just don't have one, right? I just don't have a purpose beyond being a mom and a wife. And I was a nurse at the time. But there was something more. I knew there was something more, right? I valued those roles of being a mom and a wife and a nurse and a daughter and a friend. And I valued all of those tremendously. And yet still, I knew there was something more because I had these feelings of dissatisfaction, of just feeling off purpose, of feeling antsy, feeling like there was something more, feeling like there was something missing, feeling unfulfilled, right? So I knew, and yet I really got so frustrated at a point that I just decided that I must, God forgot to put one in me, right? God sent me down here missing a part, the purpose part. And of course that is untrue, but I was just so frustrated after so many years of searching for this one specific thing that I was meant to do. And I don't think that my experience is uncommon. So here's what I want you to think about when you're thinking, if that's you, if you're feeling off purpose and you have been searching, or maybe you've just started to search and yet nothing is coming and you don't know what it is and you don't really even know where to begin. This is a beautiful place to begin and to end. And that is the idea. It's not an idea. That is the truth. That we all actually only have one purpose. There is only one purpose for each and every person walking this planet, and it is the same purpose. And that is to bring more light, love, and consciousness into this world. That is your purpose. That's your purpose. It's my purpose. It's everyone I know. It's their purpose. It's even my dog's purpose, okay? Is to bring more light, love, and consciousness into this life that we're living, into this 3D world that we are currently existing in. So if that is the only purpose that we have, and that we each have the same one. The only question is, how are we going to fulfill that purpose, right? How are we going to bring more light, love, and consciousness to this world? And for each person, that will be different, right? My way of doing that and your way of doing that may be very different. But if we start from that precept, if we start from that understanding that we all have the same purpose and it's very simple: light, love, and consciousness. How do we elevate light, love, and consciousness in our own personal lives and then in the lives of others? Then we can start. It gives us a starting point, right? It simplifies the process. And in order to answer that question today, we're going to do just a short meditation. And I invite you to journal on this afterwards, to get out a pen and paper, whether it be today or over the weekend. Just take some time to reflect on what comes up for you in this meditation and to see if you can start implementing your Dharma, your soul's purpose, into your life right now in big and small ways. Because when we realize that we all only have one purpose, and that purpose is to bring more light, love, and consciousness into the world, then we will start seeing infinite ways of doing that every day, all day, right? So you will begin to see how you can do that with your children, with your spouse, with your neighbor, with the grocery store clerk, with your coworker. It will just become abundantly clear that in every day, in every interaction, and even in non-interactions, just even in the thoughts that are running through your mind, which are so powerful, you can bring more light and love and consciousness into this world. So I'm going to give you a moment. There'll be a little musical interlude. If you are not driving and you're in a safe space and you can find a place to sit for meditation, I invite you to do that. If you are not in a safe place, please pause this and come back to it. All right, I'll see you in a moment, friends. Okay, if you've found your nice, comfortable seat, I invite you to close your eyes. Let's begin by taking some long, deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. Expanding the lungs on your inhale in every direction and letting the air just fall out of your lungs on the exhale. Taking a few more deep breaths in just the same way. I invite you to let go of whatever doesn't serve you in this moment. There is nothing to do. There is nowhere to go. There are no decisions to be made. Just be here with me in this moment. Return your breathing to normal and observe it as it flows in and out. There's no need to control it or make it do anything special. Just watch it as if you were watching a cloud passing through the sky. Now bring your attention to your heart center, right in the middle of your chest. And begin to breathe in and out of your heart center. Now move your attention to your crown chakra that's located at the top of your head. And take a few breaths here. All of our knowing comes from our heart and from our crown chakra. Our heart guides us and tells us what we really want, what we deeply desire. And our crown chakra connects us to our higher self and to the divine. Now I invite you to bring to mind someone that you care for deeply. This could be a close family member, a friend, even a pet. And I want you to imagine doing something that would bring this person love, light, and consciousness. So, what could you do for this being that would make them feel loved, that would make them feel like there was more light in the world, and that would make them feel connected to something bigger? It could be anything that comes to mind. You don't have to force it. You don't have to examine what comes or judge it. Just let your heart and your crown chakra speak to you. Next, I invite you to bring to mind someone that you're very friendly with. This could be a neighbor or a coworker, someone you really like. And I want you to imagine doing the same thing. What could you do for this person that would make them feel loved, that would bring more light into their life, and that would make them feel deeply connected? It doesn't have to be the same thing as you did for the first person. Just let it come to mind, whatever it is. And imagine maybe the look on their face, or a gentle touch, or maybe the words that they would say to you, or just how you would feel after you had this interaction. Now I want you to imagine someone that you really don't know very well at all. So this could be the grocery store clerk or any cashier at a store. It could be someone you bump into on the street, or the postman or woman. And imagine what you could do to make them feel loved, to make them feel like there's light in the world, and to make them feel connected. And now I want you to bring to mind someone who you may not be their biggest fan. Maybe you find them a little irritating or rude. There's something about this person that is a little off-putting. But bring them to mind with as much clarity as you can. And now imagine what you could do to make them feel loved, to make them feel like there's light in the world, and to make them feel connected. Whatever comes to mind, let it be what it is. And maybe imagine their reaction or response. Imagine how it could change your relationship. Imagine how it might impact people in that person's world, people that you don't know. And lastly, bring an image of yourself to mind. See your own face in your mind's eyes, in your mind's eye. And imagine what you could do that would bring you a sense of being loved, would bring you a sense of light, and make you feel deeply connected. Whatever it is, how would it change you? How would it change how you feel about yourself, how you feel about your life, how you interact with everyone around you? Now I want you to imagine each of these people or pets that you have brought to your mind, each one with the seed of light and love and connection that you have planted inside of them. And imagine them all in a circle. And imagine the light that you planted in them growing and growing and growing until each one is encircled in the light that you planted. And that circle gets larger and larger until the circles start to connect. And eventually, you all are enclosed in one big circle of light and love and connection. Can you imagine how that would change your world and the world of all the others in the circle? And can you imagine how that light could keep spreading outward to all the people and beings that each one of those people has in their life? And what would that mean? What would it mean for you? What would it mean for them? And what would it mean for our world? Now bringing your awareness back to your heart chakra in the center of your chest, letting the image go, and just breathing once again effortlessly in and out of that heart center. And when you feel ready, gently blinking open your eyes, remaining in stillness just observing the room around you. When you feel ready, starting to make gentle movements, maybe circling the neck or stretching, maybe moving the fingers or the toes. And maybe just taking a moment to say thank you to yourself and your higher self for taking the time to do this. All right, my friends. So, my invitation to you is to revisit this exercise with a journal, with a pen and paper, and to go back and for each one of those different souls that I mentioned, the one that you love, the one that you like a lot, the one that's neutral, the one that kind of gets on your nerves, and for yourself, go back and revisit what came to you during the meditation, what you could do for each one of these beings to bring them light, love, and consciousness or connection. And really really look at those when you go back and you write out each one. Take an overview, see what themes are come out for you, see what things each of those activities or interactions have in common, because they're going to tell you a lot about yourself and the way in which you are feeling called to express your Dharma, express your soul's purpose. So, like I said, we all have one singular purpose. The way in which we express that purpose is very different. It's very individualized. So, what you're looking for when you go back and journal, or when you reflect on that meditation we just did, we really connect it to our heart and we connect it to our higher self through the heart chakra and through the crown chakra. And so, whatever came up for you was your higher self and your heart speaking to you. And so, you can trust that information, right? Information that comes from the heart and comes from your higher self is trustworthy information. So take it, look at it, reflect on it, and see what themes can come up. And then imagine how you can begin implementing those types of things into your day every day. And the more time you can spend in joy, because what happens when we are spreading light, love, and consciousness, we're in joy, right? That's the benefit. That's one of the benefits to us, is that it makes us feel joyful. So the more time you can spend in joy and spreading love, light, and consciousness, the more clear your path, your soul's purpose, your Dharma will become to you. Because Dharma is something that we whittle down over time, almost like a funnel, right? We get smaller and smaller and smaller funnels. And so right now we're in the big funnel, right? This exercise helps you to just create the larger funnel. But the more time you engage in things that you feel called to do to bring light, love, and consciousness, and you feel called to do them from your higher self, the more information you will get for yourself on your own way of expressing your Dharma. So I hope that makes sense. As always, you can always reach out to me for questions about the show topic. And if you're ready to step out of those feelings I mentioned at the beginning of the show, out of the anxiety or depression, the emptiness, the feeling stuck, the questioning, is there something more? If you're ready to walk away from habits you know are not good for you, like too much social media, too much eating or drinking or working, but you use them to fill the hole that you're feeling, if you're ready to lay all that down, and if you're ready to live a life that feels deeply purposeful, meaningful, aligned, in flow, that feels deeply like yourself and like you are bringing love, light, and consciousness into the world in every moment, or almost every moment. We are human after all. Then book a discovery call. Go to my website, katiefarinas.com. It's a 20-minute Zoom call. It is free. There's no obligation. We'll just chat and see where you are and see if I am a good fit for you. And, if nothing else, I would love the opportunity just to meet you, one of my listeners, just to meet you and be able to chat with you. So please do that. And it is Labor Day weekend here in the United States. So I hope you all have a lovely long weekend, final official weekend of the summer. I am very excited about that. I am ready for my kids to go back to school and for us to have a routine. And I also love the fall weather. So I don't know if you're team fall or team summer, whichever one it is. We can't resist what it is, right? It is what it is. So embrace it. And I am certainly embracing this new season that's coming in the beautiful fall weather. But I hope you do, if you are in the United States and you are celebrating the Labor Day weekend, I hope you have a lovely long weekend and use that time to pull out your journal, reflect on this practice, and see what comes up for you. All right. Namaste, my friends. I will talk to you next week. Thank you for joining me on this journey of self-discovery here at the Midlife Purpose Project. I hope today's conversation sparked something deep inside of you, made you laugh, or reminded you that you are never alone. Remember, it's never too late to reconnect with your soul's purpose and live a life of meaning. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, rate, and review the show, or share it with someone who could use a little inspiration. It really helps the show reach more women and helps me keep the content ad-free. Join me next time as we continue to explore what it means to live with purpose in midlife.